Welcome back to another UCL Fantasy team selection for Matchday 11, the first leg of the semi-finals. You can see the two games here in the predictor game, which I definitely recommend you check out. I want to see your thoughts on both matches. Who do you think will be the player of the match? What will the score be? And which team will score first? It'd be very interesting to see your thoughts. We've got two big games. I have to say one side of the draw was definitely much weaker than the other, but we got some great games in the quarterfinals and even the round of 16 as well. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's get this video to the 200 likes on YouTube and let's keep on pushing towards 25,000 subscribers and beyond. Join the UCL Fantasy League, the Discord server. Check out Draft Town, which really helps you out with FPL. And also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM. My Patreon is patreon.com/DylanRCM. You can get early access to my videos. The same goes for if you click the join button on YouTube to become a channel member as well. A big shout out to those that have supported the channel as a member, a patron, and those that send in super chats. All subscribers as well are massively appreciated. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. I scored 55 points in Matchday 10, and it hasn't been great in terms of the scores in recent weeks, but it was enough to see a green arrow to 4,387 in the world, and I've almost got 700 points overall. You can join the league. The league code is on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. There's an auto-join link in the description below, but a few 50-50 calls definitely went against me in Matchday 7 and 8. Going for Vinicius instead of Mbappe cost me a lot of points there in the process. The same goes for the captaincy, which definitely flopped in Matchday 7. But Lunin got 5 points away to Man City after making over 10 saves and saving 2 penalties in the shootout. He should have got the Player of the Match award, but it went to Valverde instead. As for Maatsen and Hummels, they did really well at the beginning of the game. Maatsen scored, Hummels got an assist, but he also scored an own goal. Otherwise, that would have been another mega haul from a Borussia Dortmund defender. And of course, they were very close to keeping a clean sheet. As for Ruben Dias, he got 4 points from the ball recoveries, but he's eliminated. The same goes for Phil Foden and Saka, who are very underwhelming in the second leg of their respective matches. Zaire Emery has been disappointing in 2024 as a whole in all competitions. Not many goals or assists, and Vitinha might be the pick from the Paris Saint-Germain midfield. Bellingham blanked yet again, and he has been a bit poor in the last couple of weeks, but he is still capable of some big goals, as he showed in El Clasico to score the winner. Harry Kane blanked, and I think he was quite good at the Emirates with his hold-up play and the way he dropped deep and also fed the wingers, but he was quite anonymous in the second game, didn't really do anything. But Bayern Munich went through that Kimmich header. Kimmich scoring a header. What were Arsenal doing? Vinicius Jr. blanked with 2 points, but he's been very good in the knockout stages. He got 2 assists at the Bernabeu against Manchester City, and Kylian Mbappe delivered as my captain. That was the game changer for me. If I didn't get the captaincy spot on, it probably would have been a marginal red arrow. As for my bench, Oblak, Witsel, Molina and Joao Cancelo, all very disappointing, particularly that double up in the Atletico Madrid defense. But I did say, once Borussia Dortmund scored that late goal at the Wanda Metropolitano, I thought, no, that's not a good thing. Borussia Dortmund are still right in it, and that tie hangs in the balance. And in the second leg, you have to say Borussia Dortmund thoroughly deserved to go through in the end, and Atletico Madrid are absolutely awful away from home. And as for Joao Cancelo, he considered a penalty, so buying him for Marquinhos definitely backfired. I now have 7 eliminated players, but we do have 5 free transfers. Now, that doesn't sound too shabby, right? I can have 13 players in my 50-man squad. That's pretty good, but we have a few injury doubts here, like Maatsen and Hummels. I cover all the injury doubts and suspensions in the best limitless team. The suspensions have been reset in terms of yellow cards in Matchday 11, but if a player got 3 yellow cards in Matchday 10, like Carvajal, picking up that yellow against City, that means he's suspended for the first leg of the semi-finals. So be sure to take that into account. Carvajal is the only suspended player. And as for injury doubts, Bayern Munich have about 11 of them, including Musiala, Lima, Upamecano, Gnabry, Sane, and much more. So it's not looking good for certain teams. Real Madrid, meanwhile, have a fully fit squad. Courtois and Mendy will be in the squad against Bayern Munich on Tuesday. So it'll be very interesting to see how things pan out. But that was my Matchday 10 performance. Pretty decent overall. The captaincy certainly saved me, and it's about time Mbappe stepped up whilst in my UCL Fantasy team. But let's now move on to how my team looks like for Matchday 11 without making any transfers whatsoever. I have 8 available players, including Lunin, who might be a doubt with Courtois knocking on the door. I don't think that'll be a problem in Matchday 11, but it certainly will be for future match days, including 12 and 13 should Real Madrid reach the Champions League final. I've got Maatsen and Hummels who are injury doubts, and I really hope that they're back in time. Otherwise, I could be in very big trouble. So that will be a determining factor. I personally think they will be available, but it's not set in stone. I've also got Bellingham, Zaire Emery, who's been in very poor form. I do have the best front three available though, and I think Rodrigo would be another forward I'd consider, but there's no need to make that transfer. I need to focus my energy on the midfield and, if possible, go for some defender transfers as well. I think Lunin is good enough to be my only goalkeeper. I don't think any team is that likely to keep a clean sheet. Maybe Kobel is the most likely amongst goalkeepers and Borussia Dortmund, but I've already got Maatsen and Hummels if they're fit, so there's no need to buy Kobel in goal. So all the transfers I'm making are in the midfield and defensive line. If you have any questions, comments about your own situations, put them in the comment section down below. And also, let me know what you would do in my situation. I'd be very interested to see your thoughts as always. My current captaincy thoughts is Kane on the Tuesday and Mbappe on the Wednesday, but I'm also heavily considering a Bellingham, Vinicius as the captain on the Tuesday and backing Real Madrid to get the victory at the Allianz Arena. But let's now talk about some transfer plans which aren't locked in. They're definitely not set in stone, and you'll see my final team during the deadline stream as well. And I'll also keep channel members and patrons up to date as always. But it's not looking too good at the moment. But with 5 free transfers, this team will look much better by the time we get to the Matchday 11 deadline. I will cover the Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid lineups during the Tuesday deadline stream for UCL Fantasy. There's more FPL content headed your way for Gemic 36 as well, so keep your eyes peeled by subscribing to the channel. If Lunin starts, there's no need to make a goalkeeper change. I'll just stick with him. If he blanks, so be it. But if Courtois gets a surprise start, I would have to make a change here. Otherwise, I'd be down to 10 men. Unfortunately for PSG versus Dortmund, we won't get any lineups, only information from the managers before the deadline. And if Maatsen and or Hummels are out, I might have to take a -4 hit, which I very rarely do in UCL Fantasy. I believe I've taken a -8 throughout my entire lifetime, and one -4 was actually by accident. So believe me or not, that's pretty much how it panned out. I'm looking to buy 2 PSG defenders potentially in Marquinhos, who I sold in Matchday 10, and Hakimi, but that's because I backed PSG to go to the final. Now from Bayern Munich, I think Eric Dyer is the best option overall, but Kim Min-jae could start with De Ligt potentially out until June, and he could be a doubt for Euro 2024. And there's also Upamecano who's doubtful, so it could be Dyer and Kim Min-jae as the back two. And what I like most about Kim Min-jae is the ball recovery. So even if Bayern Munich concede 1 or 2 goals, Kim Min-jae can deliver 5, maybe even 6 points due to the sheer number of ball recoveries. I'm also looking at Real Madrid defenders like Rudiger. Carvajal would be my preference, but as I mentioned earlier, he is suspended. And very briefly, I'm going to go through all the injuries for every single team. So for suspended players, there's only one who I just mentioned, Carvajal. Now, players who are now available include Davis, who was suspended in Matchday 10. He is now back. Ferland Mendy and Courtois were doubts only a couple of days ago, but they've both been included in the Real Madrid squad to face Bayern Munich. And as for Bayern Munich, they've got Gnabry, Sane, Upamecano, Musiala, who are all doubtful. The same goes for Kingsley Coman, who's probably out for a couple of weeks. Konrad Laimer could be out until the end of May. And also De Ligt, as I just mentioned, potentially until June. Sasha Bowie, Sarr, Bookman and Marusic all out as well. Real Madrid have a fully fit squad, whilst Borussia Dortmund have Hummels and Maatsen, who are both doubtful. Daniel Malen is potentially out until mid-May. Then you've got Sebastian Haller as well, around the same time period. And Ben Sabani is probably out for the rest of May as well. As for PSG, Kurzawa, Kimpembe and Sergio Rico are their injury doubts, but Kurzawa and Kimpembe could be back for the Matchday 11 squad to face Borussia Dortmund on Wednesday. So that is all the updates you need to know. I also covered it in the Best Limitless Team video and podcast. But the other transfers I'm looking to make are in the midfield, and I'm currently going for Sabitzer, Valverde and Sane. If I want to focus on Matchday 11 only, I might go for Julian Brandt as well and double up on Borussia Dortmund offensively, but that could lead to problems in Matchday 12 and 13 because I back PSG to go through, and that could result in even more eliminated players. But I do like to strike a balance and not put all my eggs in one basket, but that approach certainly can work in UCL Fantasy, and I have done it before and it hasn't been too bad. Leroy Sane over Kimmich, that's a bit debatable because Sane hasn't scored in almost 30 games across all competitions, but he can deliver in the biggest games. He was electrifying against Arsenal at the Emirates, very quiet in the other leg, but Sane at his best can cause any team in the world many problems indeed, and in the past he has been a great option in UCL Fantasy. So for me, it's between Sane or Kimmich for my Bayern Munich midfielder. Valverde is the second best Real Madrid midfielder in UCL Fantasy and the best player they have in that position overall. And I think Sabitzer or Brandt is a 50-50 call, and I might just go for both of them in the end. There's no need to touch that front three, although I like Rodrigo, and if I was building a new team and trying to be a bit different, I think Rodrigo could be in it over Vinicius or Harry Kane. But ultimately, the midfield and defence is what I need to prioritise, especially if Maatsen and Mats Hummels are both out in Matchday 11. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But one thing to finalise is the captaincy, and I'm currently going for Kane on the Tuesday and Mbappe on the Wednesday, but that's also very template, isn't it? And if it's not Harry Kane on Tuesday, it's Bellingham, but I'm actually considering Vinicius Jr. instead for the Tuesday to go a bit different. And if you have Rodrigo, I think he could definitely be considered for the captaincy. He has scored some big goals for Real Madrid, both home and away in the Champions League, so I think Rodrigo could be a great differential. And on the Wednesday, either Sabitzer or Julian Brandt could be a great captaincy shout if you're backing Borussia Dortmund to win the first leg at home. So I think Kane and Mbappe look like the best options on paper, but I think Vinicius Jr. or Rodrigo and a Borussia Dortmund midfielder could certainly upset the balance and favour those that are a bit bold and go for something different. Thank you very much for watching this video and listen to this podcast. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's get this video to the 200 likes and let's keep on pushing towards 25,000 subscribers and beyond. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the other links in the description below for the Patreon, patreon.com/DylanRCM. Click the join button on YouTube to become a channel member and get early access to my videos, amongst many other perks. A huge shout out goes to channel members, patrons, subscribers, those that comment on my content, those that like every single stream and video, and also super chatters. You're massively appreciated. As always, join the Discord server to be part of a great community, and also check out Draft Town, which is very useful in FPL, and Spotify and Amazon Music. Leave a 5-star review on my podcast. It goes a long way to supporting my channel. I wish you all the best of luck for Matchday 11 and the rest of the season, and I'll see you next time.